Hey, good morning from Melbourne, Australia. It is currently 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. I'm lucky enough to have the day off on such a beautiful day, despite the fact that it's been -1 overnight. My hair is a total mess, hence why I'm wearing a cap to hide that from you. Um, and the reason for this video is I just wanted to do a quick check-in and I guess give a bit of an update to my friends in the aviation field with what I've been doing. And I guess give you a bit of an update with my United by Wings project that I've been working on for almost 3 months now. And also give you a bit of a story behind what's motivated me to do this. I used to always shy away, not so much over the past 5 years, but earlier than that, I'd always kind of shy away from telling my story. I was, I guess, embarrassed. This mental health stigma has been around for a while. So as part of breaking down that stigma, I'm learning that, I have to be open about my experiences and what's kind of led me to where I am today. It's going to be one take. You'll probably hear the dishwashing machine, you'll hear my dogs barking, but that's life. This is me, so just ignore my whining dogs. They're beautiful though, I love them. So me, I have been living in Melbourne now for about 5 years. I have kind of yo-yoed between Australia and New Zealand for most of my life. I was born in Wellington, and that's kind of where I started my flying journey. I joined with Air New Zealand in 2004, no, 2006, yes, which means that I've kind of been in the industry now for almost 12, 13 years. I haven't always flown. I worked on the ground for 2 years in Wellington, and I then kind of, I've always wanted to fly. I'm one of those dorks that, go to these aviation interviews and just explain that it's always been a kind of dream of mine. I don't know why I've been fascinated by flying, but I always have been. And look, it's the most amazing career. I imagine that I'm going to be in this industry for quite a long time. I know that it's a remote workforce. I know we don't work 9 to 5. But to be completely honest with you, that's the reason why I love my job so much. No day is ever the same. We deal with such a magnitude of different situations on board the aircraft, and that's kind of, it can be stressful at times, of course, but it's kind of a big reason why I love what I do. So yeah, I have been in this industry for a while. I've worked for a few airlines. I've been a bit of a hussy, if you could say that. Um, but I've been with my current airline for just over 2 years and 3 months, and I'm happy. I love the company. I love the history, and I just realised that there's a bit of a gap with this mental health epidemic crisis at the moment. So this is the reason why I'm kind of sharing my story and sharing, I guess, a bit of behind the scenes of the motivation why I'm deciding to do what I'm doing. I had a pretty good upbringing. I won't complain. I've got the most amazing family. Like any family, we do go through drama sometimes, but I'm learning the older I get that every family has, their issues. I was a pretty good student through high school. I did stray a little bit towards the end, but I would, always hand in my assignments. Never always A plus, but I tried my hardest. I ended up leaving high school in year 11, so that's year 10 in New Zealand. I had pretty bad depression. I was I won't shy away and say that I was suicidal. I also had bulimia too, so I used to be quite a big guy. I had tried a lot of ways to lose weight and I couldn't, and it's something that I guess developed itself, and I got to a pretty bad point where I had to leave school and be admitted into a mental health hospital on the Gold Coast. So I was there for 2 months initially, and look, it was the most scariest, horrible, traumatizing time of my life, but I look back now and I'm so thankful for that experience. I think it was my turning point. I remember one day I was sitting there. Obviously, you make friends with the patients that are there with you, and I just remember looking outside and thinking to myself, like, I'm waiting for someone to save me. I'm waiting for a situation or some kind of, I guess, pinnacle moment in my life where things are going to change for me. But then I kind of sat back and realized that I have to be the change. I have to be the person that changes things, and I guess surround myself with support. And I'm very lucky that through my whole life I've had people that I've been able to speak to. So I guess that's kind of been part of the reason why I'm becoming more open with sharing my experiences, because there's power in that. Everybody has a story, and I'm learning that I'm getting more curious the older I get. And I guess even if we have someone angry on the plane, I always try my hardest to kind of figure out a backstory as to what's happened in their day. It's so easy to judge and put people into a box, but I'm trying my hardest not to do that anymore. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I kind of, yeah, I went back to high school. I finished my high school studies, and then pretty much left Australia after that was done, and got myself into aviation. And this is going to sound really geeky and really, like, I guess, what's the word? Just weird. But this whole industry has just like changed my life. It's made me a more confident person. It's made me want to stand up for what I believe in. It's incredible, the amount of amazing, I call them sky angels, but the amount of people that I work with that are just the most beautiful, engaging, caring people. I'm so thankful for every single person I've met over the course of the last 12 years, because it's kind of shaped me to be the person I am too. Um, with the workforce I work in, obviously, I fly long haul, so we are away from our family and friends for a pretty big amount of time. And that obviously comes with its own complications too. I mean, we are on an aircraft sometimes for 16, 17 hours, and in turn that means that, that's 16 or 17 hours that you have to, obviously, I'm not saying put on a face, but we have to be engaging, we have to be positive, we have to, be these advocates for a company. And, at times it can be really difficult. I say that, sometimes it's really great having like a trip, because it means you can kind of leave everything at home, get on a plane, get somewhere, have this, time to yourself where you can process and go through things. And that part of the job is amazing. But the flip side of that is, if you've had something go on the morning before work, if you've had some kind of experience with your family, with your partner, with just life in general, it can be really hard having to package all of that up, leave it at home, go to the airport, go to work, and it potentially get to your destination, and then kind of have this feeling of like, oh. And I've been there. I've been there too. I've had it a few times where I've been away and I haven't really known anyone I'm working with, and it's proven to be pretty difficult. It's luckily my friends don't mind the time zone change, so I've had a few 3 a.m. calls back to Australia where I've just needed someone to speak to. Traditionally, with all of the airlines I've worked for, there has been some type of support. So if you're not familiar, EAP does stand for Employee Assistance Program. Every airline within Australia, as far as I'm aware, does have their own version of this type of support. I personally call it mental health triage. So it's kind of used for when you need to see someone, and it's you get 5 sessions in Australia. I'm sure New Zealand is the same, and it basically allows you to have 5 sessions with someone. It could be multiple people, but 5 sessions where you can just kind of figure out a plan of attack. If you want to see someone long term, that's an option, and they just give you advice on the best way to, I guess, go through things. And it's an amazing service. I've used it so many times, and it's an unbiased view. So it's not like talking to a family member or a friend. It's just someone who doesn't know your situation at all, which can actually be really beneficial. In saying that, I recently did a survey, as I'm sure a few of you are aware, and the results weren't surprising, but pretty alarming. The general consensus is that a lot of people don't feel supported. A lot of people are unaware of how to find the resources, which has been my biggest part. I guess the reason why I'm wanting to create this United by Wings concept. The idea of my project, I have so much going on in my head, but I'm trying to consolidate everything. It's going to be a website, and I want it to kind of be like a mental health one-stop shop. So it's going to have each company's links to their EAP services that are available. I also want to have information on there about services within Melbourne, throughout different places in Australia or New Zealand. because I understand that a lot of people aren't comfortable going to their employer, or I guess, I need to respect that not everyone is as open as me, which I completely understand because I've been there too. And even though we're obviously being super proactive this day and age, because I'm getting distracted now, but I need to say that it's, I sometimes get really frustrated with how, people feel like they can't talk about it, how it's still pushed under the rug, how it's still got this negative stigma attached to it. Whereas I sometimes have to stop myself and think, 10, 15 years ago, we have come so far as countries, as communities, as the world. We see videos come up and we see people reaching out. We see, quotes. We are at a point where I think things are getting better, but there is still a lot of work to be done. And I think I just needed to validate that, I do appreciate how far things have come over the past, 10, 15 years. I want it also to be a point where it can be a peer-to-peer based community. So that basically removes everything company-wise. It's not going to be branded by Qantas or Virgin or Air New Zealand. It's completely separated. It's a safe space for people that are either cabin crew, engineers, pilots, ground crew. I want it to be for everybody because we are working in the same 24/7 environment. With it being peer-to-peer based, I'm still figuring out the nuts and bolts behind that, but I want it to be a support network for, it doesn't even need to be someone going through crisis. It can be someone that might have had something happen, because we as crew and in the aviation world, we are family, and that's the biggest theme that I love about the industry I work in. We are family. We go away for 4 or 5 days, and even though we might be complete strangers at the start of a flight, you build relationships and we talk and we communicate, and we are family when we're away. So we are really good at being open, and I guess sometimes expressing how we are feeling. So I want to create a platform for that, because I know that a lot of people find it hard to put their hand up and maybe call their manager and say, hey, I'm not okay. I need support. I need to know where this information is. So I want to remove that barrier from people being able to access information. So, I'm starting to kind of design exactly what I want the website to look at. I eventually want to have an app as well for people that, for example, are away. I want this app to have things like mindfulness. I want it to have like a crew connect concept where, it will pick up on your location if you want to meet someone for a cup of coffee. It might be a bit daunting, and I know that feeling, it's a stranger, what? But I want to have that to be available. I want to also have on this app, see, I told you my dog would bark. Pepe! Hey! Shush. He'll go on for a little bit, but it's fine. I want it to be this crew connect concept. So if someone does need to see someone, if they need support, straight away it will link you directly to that support. Obviously, it's going to take a while to get those logistics, but that's kind of where I'm going with this. I also want to provide a platform as part of the United by Wings website where we are providing support for someone that might be supporting someone going through like a mental health crisis. Because even for me, I obviously want to be a big advocate and be a big support for anybody that I come, that I cross paths with. But I do understand that sometimes it can be extremely, draining is probably the wrong word, but it can be hard to take on someone's stuff and be like, wow, this is full on, but I want to be the best support I possibly can be. I'm looking at potentially getting some funding to get a group of us within the airline I work for at the moment to do mental health first aid training. So, because look, let's be honest, I'm not trained. Yes, I've been through a bit of stuff in my life, but there's a lot more that I could be aware of and know. I don't at all want to say that my life's perfect and I have everything figured out. I have bad days, man. I have days where I don't want to get out of bed, and I have trips even where I just want to stay by myself and isolate myself, and that still happens. So I really, really don't want to paint a picture where it's me telling people what to do or how to deal with things, because that's not the idea of this concept. I'm just trying to be real. I'm a human. I still have really bad days. I have great days as well, but I'm learning not to shy away from the bad days. So yeah, I also wanted to reach out to anyone that might be interested in getting involved. I'm looking at having a bit of a, pre-start United by Wings community. Luckily, I've got some amazing friends that work in the social work and psychology field, so I've been meeting up with them regularly to kind of touch base and have these amazing brainstorm sessions. So it's going to be obviously a personal experience, but also um, what's the word I'm looking for? People that actually work in the field and are studying. So it's exciting times. I'm really, really, really stoked that so many people are getting on board with this. And I had a flight the other day where someone approached me and just, said thank you. Like, it means the world to me because, look, I'm so passionate about this, and I feel like, in a really cheesy way, this is what I need to do and what I kind of, what I want to see change. And a quote that I live my life by is, be the change you want to see in the world, because sometimes, you might be knocked back from companies and you might not get a response. You might not get a reply for a week. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm taking this into my own hands. I know what I want to do, and I've got the tools and the resources to do it. So yeah, it's going to take a while, but I'm very excited, and I just wanted to share a bit of love and give you a bit of insight into why I'm doing what I'm doing. But yeah, much love, and feel free to share this with any of your pilot friends, cabin crew friends, ground crew friends. We are all one family, despite our little alliances around the world. We all wear the same uniform, but we are still exactly doing the same job, and we are still in this remote workforce, and we are still away alone sometimes too. So it doesn't matter where you come from. We are all family, and I wanted to stress that. So happy Wednesday. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. All right, much love. Bye.